the mandate has been lifted. It's your man, Mike DeLoach, bringing you some content of a black man in New Mexico. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, all that jazz. Leave your comments below and let me know what you think. But real quick video, if you've been traveling state to state, or if you're just one of those kind of nerdy type of people that just keep up with, stuff that's going on in different areas, New Mexico was one of those states that still had the freaking mask mandate, And as far as my thoughts on the whole situation, man, that's another conversation for another day. I try not to be political or nothing like that, so that's why you'll never hear me talking about it. But again, we're one of those states that still had that mask mandate in place. When it would kind of get, it would kind of be irritating sometimes, because at the end of the day, like I said, you're not the one making the policies, you're not the one laying down the law, but when you're working, your little gigs or whatever situation you may be in. For myself, again, I'm in hospitality, so as I'm working, it's something that I have to adhere to. You know what I mean? And like I said, how I feel about it, hey, I may not, be for it or whatever, but you had to do what you had to do. But when I say it got a little tricky, it's because you would have those people who are traveling from state to state or have been state to state, and they done been in, we'll say, 5 previous states up until this point, and neither one of those states had a mandate, or they might have been a little more lenient than other places, And then it gets to the point too, the reason I speak about like the law, because as working a job, working a little gig, they want you to kind of almost be the enforcers, to be like the police. But at the end of the day, I wasn't no mask police. You know what I'm saying? When everything first kicked off, it's like, okay, like, hey, you got your mask, or even then you didn't have to tell people. People were putting it on because they didn't know what it was at the time, But of course, when they start rolling out all these vaccinations, people getting vaccinated, they feel like, the vaccination, made them immune. You know what I'm saying? And even after that, they showed us that, okay, even if you are vaccinated, you can still get this variant of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's really no way around it. You know what I'm saying? If you get it, you got it. You know what I'm saying? It'll go away. But it can happen. You know what I mean? But I digress. But like I say, once people started getting vaccinated, they could care less about wearing a mask, even if it was, technically mandated. Most people argument was, oh, well, I've been vaccinated. And you would have those rebels, and again, hey, that's your political stance, whatever the case may be. I didn't get too deep into it with people, you know what I'm saying, about my personal thoughts about it, and I really didn't want to know where other people stood, and again, some people who were those rebels would kind of let you know where they stood, or like I say, them not wearing the mask was them holding their stance, as far as where they stood with the whole situation. But like I said, I wasn't no mask police, so you got to a point where it's like, shit, yeah, it's required, but I ain't trying to sit here and argue with you about it. Like I said, I'm gonna do it because, hey, I'm at my place of employment, my little gig, so hey, man, I'm gonna just do what I gotta do, you know what I'm saying, to keep this little thing going or whatever. But I'm not about to sit here and waste my breath with you about what you feel is right, what I feel is right, what political stance you have, and all of that. I wasn't finna do all of that. So, I got to a point like, hey, man, if you got it, you got it, but I ain't finna tell you gotta put it on. You see the signs at the door, what you need to be doing there. And if you travel, you should be keeping up with what states is mandated or not. And half the people would know, like, oh, y'all still one of those states, huh? Y'all still require it. And with that being said, you would have some people who, again, will play the game for what it is. Like, okay, it's required here. I put it on in the times or the places that I need it on, and when I don't, it's coming off. You know what I mean? So some people did what they had to do and play the game, but of course, you had those rebels who had to make a point. You know what I mean? But I'm saying all of that to say this. To what I started off with. They finally lifted this shit. So now here it is. We ain't that state that people gotta sit here and like, you know, New Mexico one of them, one of them states, one of the only states that still require you to do this mandate. Stop. And so people would, you know, have temper tantrums sometimes about it, for lack of a better word. But you know where I'm going with it. I'm sure you done met somebody like that in your area, but it's been lifted as of today. And then as soon as she, you know, made her statement, it was effective immediately. And regardless of where people may have talked about it, where they stood, at the end of the day, 9 out of 10 people was tired of that shit, regardless if it was recommended to protect you or whatever. Because shit, my GM come in today. It's like, you know, did you get the email? And you know, because she emailed it to the different departments and let them know, like, hey, spread it to your people. You know what's going on. But she came in, you know, did you get an email? And she was like, all right. And she had her mask off. Do you feel liberated? You know what I'm saying? Well, basically, to hear her finally lift that shit, and not even in comparison, well, and I guess to a certain degree, you think about those other areas, like, man, they not even fucking requiring it. And to why we still had it mandated, that's another conversation for another day. But to hear that, like I said, people were liberated, you know? Like I said, regardless of where they stood on it, you know? Got tired of wearing that shit. Me, myself, personally, yeah, I feel fucking liberated. You know what I mean? Because within my job, I'm talking a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it's frustrating to have to talk through that, you know, when my job requires me to talk. You know what I'm saying? But I just, like I said, just want to make this real quick, man. She finally lifted the mandate. Hopefully she won't try to pull it back within like a month or so, because she did that before. There was one time when she lifted the mandate and not even a month. 2 months. It was probably a month, if I'm not mistaken. We were back to wearing the mask. So I guess that's why I'm not technically overly excited, because I'm like, man, she could do anything. She could pull any trick on us and have us back on this shit. But hopefully this is a thing of the past moving forward. You know what I'm saying? But go have a drink tonight. I'm pretty sure some people gonna go have a drink tonight just because, like, man, fuck, I was tired of this shit. I'm finna go out and sip on a little something, man. And it's right before the springtime too. It's about to be live this spring and summer in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But it's your man, Mike DeLoach. Subscribe to the channel. Select all notifications when you do. Hit that bell. Like the video, share the video, leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. But until next time.